Once, in a vast African savanna, there lived a young lion named Kato. He was powerful, skilled at hunting, and fearless. But despite all his strengths, he had one weakness: he wanted everyone to like him and understand him. One morning, Kato caught a large deer after hours of effort. Proud of his hard work, he began carrying it back home. On the way, a group of hyenas appeared. Their leader gave him a smirk, one that didn't feel friendly at all. "Well, look who we have here," the hyena mocked. "The big lion stealing food from helpless animals. What a bully!" Kato stopped. Anger rose inside him. "I'm not a bully," he replied. "I worked hard for this. I hunted for hours. This is my food." The hyenas burst into laughter. "Listen to him explaining himself," one said. "How adorable." "I'm just telling the truth," Kato insisted, his voice getting louder. "I only hunt when I'm hungry. I don't kill for fun." Yeah, another hyena sneered. "That's what they all say." "I'm not a bully," Kato shouted. But the more he tried to defend himself, the more the hyenas laughed. They called him selfish, cruel, and arrogant. Kato kept trying to prove them wrong. "You don't understand," he said. "I help others too. I shared food last week. I even helped a sick cub yesterday." Still, they didn't stop. Eventually, the hyenas walked away, laughing, leaving Kato standing there tired and upset. His food was still there, but he had lost his appetite. What hurt the most was seeing how happy the hyenas looked. They had managed to make a strong lion feel small. That evening, Kato went to speak with an elder lion named Jabari. Jabari was old, large, and covered in scars from past battles. His presence alone commanded respect. "The hyenas keep insulting me," Kato said. "They call me a bad lion. How can I make them understand the truth?" Jabari looked at him calmly. "Why do you care about their opinion?" "Because they're wrong," Kato replied. "I need to correct them." "Why?" "Because I'm not what they say." Jabari stayed silent for a moment, then asked, "Do their words change who you really are?" "No," Kato admitted. "Then why give them control over your peace?" "I'm not giving them control," Kato argued. "I'm just defending myself." Jabari shook his head. "Every time you try to justify yourself to those who attack you, you lose. You make them your judge." Kato frowned. "So what should I do?" "Just ignore them." "Tomorrow," Jabari said, "watch me." The next day, the hyenas found Jabari resting under a tree. "Look at the old lion," they mocked. "Too lazy to hunt now." Jabari didn't react. He didn't even open his eyes. "Hey! We're talking to you," they shouted. Still nothing. Finally, Jabari opened one eye, glanced at them without emotion, and then closed it again. The silence felt heavy. The hyenas became uncomfortable. Without a reaction, their words lost power. One tried to speak again, but his confidence had faded. Slowly, they walked away, confused. Kato, who had been watching, was amazed. "You didn't say anything, and they left." Jabari replied, "I didn't fight them. I simply refused to play their game." "But didn't you feel angry?" "What they think about me doesn't matter. I know who I am. That's enough." Kato thought about this deeply. Days later, when the hyenas returned, he faced them again. "There's Kato," they mocked. "The selfish lion." He felt anger rising again. He wanted to argue. To explain. To defend himself. But then he remembered Jabari. So he stayed calm. He looked at them without speaking. Seconds passed. The hyenas waited for a reaction but none came. They tried harder, but Kato remained still. Finally, he spoke softly, "Think whatever you want." Then he turned and walked away. The hyenas stood there, confused. There was no fun without a reaction. Weeks passed. They kept trying, but Kato never gave them what they wanted. He either stayed silent or remained calm. One day, a hyena asked, "Why don't you defend yourself anymore? Don't you care?" Kato replied calmly, "Why should a lion worry about what hyenas think?" It wasn't said with anger, just truth. And from that moment, everything changed. The hyenas stopped bothering him. Without reaction, their words had no power. One day, Jabari saw Kato walking confidently. "You've learned," Jabari said. "Yes," Kato replied. "I spent so much time trying to make others understand me. I forgot that understanding myself is what matters. And now I know a lion doesn't need to explain himself. He simply is. Jabari smiled. You're no longer a cub. You've become a king. From that day forward, Kato carried himself differently, not arrogant, just certain. He didn't need to prove his strength or goodness. His actions spoke for him. And when others spoke badly about him, their words no longer affected him. They passed by like wind through grass. Because Kato finally understood. When you stop defending yourself, no one can defeat you. True strength doesn't come from explaining who you are. It comes from knowing who you are. A lion doesn't explain himself to hyenas. He simply lives his truth. Stop explaining. Start living.